Welcome back to our Absolute Fantasy Entrelac Hat and Fingerless Mitts Knit Along. Hi, I'm Jenny Fish from One Big Happy Yarn Company, and we are starting episode 2 where we're going to learn how to finish off the fingerless mitts. We have two options. One, an open thumb hole, and then the other, I'll show you how to put a thumb on your fingerless mitts. I'll show you how to do the finishing triangles, which is a little bit different than what we did in the hat. Don't forget, onebighappy.com is where you can get your kit. The kit includes all the yarn that you need, and the pattern includes both the hat and the fingerless mitts. So let's get started. Welcome back to the second episode of our Absolute Fantasy Entrelac Hat and Fingerless Mitts. Now we're ready to pick up on the fingerless mitts and get started. The tools are the same. I did switch out to a longer circular needle, so I had a little bit more room because I'm using a smaller circumference for the fingerless mitts. So here are the fingerless mitts. And the great thing too, the Noro Silk Garden Sock ball of yarn, this one ball right here, makes both the hat and the mitts. So you'll notice that the mitts don't match in color. That's because that's how it played out after I finished the hat. It's the same rotation of, like, there you go. That's the color change of the ball of yarn. And I just kept going. I liked the look of it. And so that's how that worked out. And then with the other set, the Malabrigo Caprino yarn, it does take more than one skein of yarn to finish the hat, and then you use your leftovers to finish up the mitts. So it works out. You can get the kit at onebighappy.com, and it comes with the yarn and the pattern that you need to make these. So that's the great thing about the kits, is you can make both of them. It's like a 2-for-1. You get the pattern and the yarn, and you're good to go. So in the first episode, we made the hat, and we started off with the ribbing. We did the triangles, tier 1, tier 2. It is exactly the same. You just cast on a different number because it's a smaller circumference, but the ribbing, the triangles. So you can always refer back to episode 1 if you need help working those steps. Now, what I want to do is show you some of the differences between the hat and the mitts and some of the things that we do a little bit different. First of all, we need a thumb hole right here. So I want to show you how to make the thumb hole, and then I'll show you how to close up the top, because this one, we don't do the decreases like we did on the hat. We just even it out, and I'll show you those steps. So let's just get started. Let's finish this puppy up. So on this sample here, we have worked all the way up to the point where we're going to be putting the thumb hole in. And this is in your pattern as well, but I want to give you a really good visual of where this is and how you work it. Now, at this step, we are on tier 2, and we would normally pick these stitches up and start incorporating them with this set right here. But we need to leave an opening, and I found this is the easiest way to do it. What I did was I just went ahead and did a knitted cast on for those 7 stitches instead of picking these up, and it left that hole. So I'll just remind you how to make a knitted cast on. Super simple. I knit into that first stitch. I bring this out, slide my needle in, and boom, there's a cast on of 1, and I do that 6 more times so that I have a total of 7. There's 3, 4, 5, 6. Try to keep your tension even. And I think that's 7. Let me go back and count. I'm always recounting. Magic number 7 on here, and I'm always recounting just to make sure. And I kind of, when I have several on here like this, I always start at the beginning, and I know, okay, there's my first 7, 3, 6. Oh, I did 1 extra. There we go. That's why we recount. Okay, now at this point, and your pattern will explain this, we need to go back and give this a little more structure. So we're going to slip the first stitch knitwise or purlwise and knit those stitches. This is going to hang out here a little loose. That's okay. That's what it's supposed to do. We're going to connect these two on the next pass. So 3, 6, and that's the 7th right there. Then I'm going to backwards knit here by sliding this one and come back here And when I get to this last stitch here, now is where I'm going to purl these two together. And again, I'm doing this backwards. Let me flip it around so you can see the other way, so you can actually see the purl two together. Right through here. Purl those two. Now this is the last stitch from the ones I just cast on and the first stitch from the next rectangle that I'm incorporating. Purl those two together. And now I'm flipping back to the right side of my fabric where I slip the first one and knit across. Now the rest is just the same. All the same steps all the way across. And it looks really wide right here, right now. Like that's way too big. Once you come in and you finish this rectangle and you do the next round, that closes that up and cinches it up. Here is a set that I have where I have the thumb hole open and you can see. And then I'll slide these on so you can also see what it looks like on my hand. See, it's not too bad. And you also have the option, and I'll show you this later too, where you could pick up these stitches and knit a thumb just like this one if you wanted to. I left one of them open. I like that style. And then I also gave you the option of showing you how to close that up. So that is the thumb hole. That simple. You just skip those stitches, cast on instead of picking up, and then you work continuously. So then you go ahead and you finish the round and follow the instructions for how many times you do that. And then we finish up the top of the mitt. Because we're not decreasing and closing it up like the hat, we have to work a finishing triangle round. Very similar to the other tiers that we've been working, but I'll show you that here in just one moment. Here I've finished this last rectangle and I'm ready to start my triangles. This is where we did the thumb hole. I want to show you here. See how the thumb hole's coming out the side here? That's this gap here is where that thumb hole is. And this is there, just to give you a point of reference where everything's at here. Now we're filling in this gap right here where the triangles are. When you have this in your hand and you're working on it, it will make so much more sense. You'll be like, oh, that's what she's talking about. And if you are confused, don't hesitate. We have support for you. Just leave a comment below and I'll answer that for you. Now, the triangle. Again, this is the last rectangle of the round. And remember in episode 1, when you get to the last one, there's one extra row that you have to do to get your yarn in the right spot so that you're going the right direction. I just need to knit across this row. And I'm going to start with slipping one and then knitting across like this. Just like that. That finishes up that last rectangle. Now I pick up 7 stitches right across here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, so that's what it looks like. And now we are going to work the triangle. So I've picked up and I knit these across. Now I'm going to work back, slip the first one, and I'm going to knit backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just like that. And I'm leaving that first one on my needle. Now I'm going to slip this one, knit till I have 1 remaining from this side and 1 left there. And I'm going to do a SSK, which is a slip, slip, knit. So slip, slip, and knit. Now I'm going to slip this back on and I'm going to go back 1 less than the last time. So this should be slip 1 and then purl 4. 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to leave that one on the needle. Now I'm going to slip and knit till one before the last one. So that's 1, 2, and 3. I have one left here. I'm going to combine it with this one with the SSK. Slip, slip, knit those 2 through the back loop. Slide that over and purl back 1, 2, 3. And I'm leaving this one on the needle. Now slip and knit 1, 2. I've got one left. I'm going to incorporate that just like this. It's SSK. Then slide this back, purl back or knit backwards 1, 2, leaving this one still on the needle. Then slide, knit 1, and then an SSK for these 2. Slide this back. It's a lot of repetition back and forth, but this is what's going to fill up that area. Leave that one on there. Slide, SSK. Now I'm going to slip this one, knit this one, and then these 2 right here, I'm picking up and bringing over. So that's a pass over, just like that. And look how nice and neat that triangle turned out right there. And each of these, it's all even. So once I go all the way around, now I can come back and do my ribbing. All of my stitches are, I'm going to show you this one more time because it's a little tricky. This is one where I have to go to a quiet area for a minute and really concentrate because it looks so nice when you've done each of these steps properly. So we're going to pick up 7 stitches here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, SSK. 1, SSK. Slip, knit, pass, 2 stitches up and over. There we go. Nice and pretty. So you'll do that all the way around. That will give you a nice, sorry, I had to really stop and focus on that because that's a lot of counting and your numbers are changing and it's different than what you've done throughout the whole project. So yeah, don't hesitate to take a few moments and really focus on those. There's 4 of them. You just have to do it 4 times. Then all of your stitches are there. You finish up with your ribbing, which is a knit 2, purl 2, and then you're ready to add the thumb if you want to, or you can leave it like 80s style. So now I'll show you how to add the thumb on there. I finished up the finishing triangles. I didn't put the ribbing on this sample because I really want to get to showing you how I picked up the stitches for the thumb. We know there's 7 stitches here and 7 stitches there, so I just went ahead and picked up 14 stitches. If you have a little bit of a gap, you could pick up 15 or 16 and then decrease them out, but I'll show you how I picked those up. Same as, you know, you picked up your other stitches. However, I am attaching the new yarn. There it is. Well, goodness gracious. Okay, here we go. Wrap it around. So I did 7 on this side, 7 on the other side. Just like that. Very simple, very easy. You should be very used to picking up these. I go under both of the stitches. 7. And then because I am using a long cord on here. Now this part you could do with double pointed needles if you wanted to. I'm just still using my long circular needle. 7 stitches here. Now I'm going to go to this side. Now this is where we did the knitted cast on, so it doesn't look the same exactly, but look at the base of each of those stitches and pick up right through there. Bring this around and I'm going to go ahead and pick these up here. And close this up. There's 1, 2, 3, 1 right through there. 4, 5, 6, 7. There we go. And that'll be on the inside of the fingerless mitt, so you won't be able to see about how nice that is. There's 7 there, 7 on the other side. Then I go back into my regular magic loop setup and knit in the round. And we do have a stitch support video on knitting in the round, so if you need a reminder on that, we have that. I'll put the link up above. We're going to knit in the round for about 1 inch. So you'll continue knitting in the round and then finish up with your 2x2 ribbing. I'll show you what that looks like here, right there. And then weave in your ends and block. And guess what? We have this new mitten blocker. This little piece right here goes in the thumb. So you get it wet like you normally would for wet blocking. And in this one, because it's fingerless, you could go either way. But then this slides right in here. So this is slanted right here like this. And you slide it in there and it goes up against the template like that. And it has all the holes in it so it can get the airflow. And then boom, there you go. You have mitten blockers. They're super cute. I'm excited about those. Thank you so much for joining me for the absolute fantasy Entrelac hat and fingerless mitts knit along. I had a blast showing you these techniques and I hope you take a chance. Remember, you can get the kit at onebighappy.com. The kit includes the yarn and the pattern so that you can knit right along with me. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Happy knitting.